Alright guys, so welcome to a new video. So today I wanted to talk about season 2 of The 100, because I talked about a lot of Fear the Walking Dead, like a lot, and I do want to talk about something a little bit different, and I thought I could do something Walking Dead, but I thought The 100, I enjoyed making the last video, I'm getting further on myself, so I thought we'll update and talk about season 2. So, season 2 I thought was twice as good as season 1. Season 1 was like very good. Like I gave it, I would say like 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Like it wasn't perfect, but it was damn well good. And season 2 I would say is twice as good. That doesn't mean I'd give it like 16 out of 10, but I think that everything is layered. For example, I wrote down my notes, making sure I know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll list you some things that I believe were expanded upon. Mount Weather. So Mount Weather, we didn't really hear much about them in season 1, but we just knew that they were like people or a thing or summit on Earth. And season 2, basically, the whole focus is Mount Weather. We also expand about the Grounders. We already learned quite a bit about the Grounders in season 1, but in season 2, we need their help. We need to know what they like. We need to know how we can get their alliance. And so it just further goes in depth about what the Grounders community's like, what they're like, rather than just thinking of them as just some other group already on the Earth as a threat. We learn more about the actual 100 themselves, obviously focusing on, say, Clark, Bellamy, Finn, Octavia, Raven. All of the main cast are once again expanded upon. And the world itself is expanded upon, because it's not just the characters, but the world, and obviously travelling to Mount Weather. It's a new location, it's a new place. You know, season 1 had a pretty kind of like, location-wise, the main focus was the dropship. But season 2 is like, well, Mount Weather's a big place, and the Ark is now a big place, and we'll even travel to like the deserty parts in some areas, and we'll even go back to the dropship for some places, and other places. Like season 2 really just does build the world up. And the Ark itself, because we did see a lot of the Ark in season 1, but now that the Ark in season 2 have made their way to the ground, they are also expanded upon. So literally every single element and layer is expanded upon and made more interesting. And that is a huge positive. That is a great step in the right direction. Another positive I love are the bold deaths. The deaths in season 2 are so good. Anya, at the start, is a character that I really thought was going to be alive for longer. I really thought we would see more of Anya, and she dies. She gets shot by the Ark, and it's crazy. I cannot believe it. Like, Anya's not the character. She's not like a character you'd sit there and say, she had so much potential, she shouldn't have died. Like, she did have potential. She would have been great if she was still alive. But I think her death was quite monumental. It definitely set the story back for obvious reasons. They couldn't have just quickly ramped up the story and ended it within like 2 episodes. But I thought her death was used well in the story, and it was quite a sad death. I was really not happy about it. Finn's death was brilliant. I'm so glad he died. Hate Finn. Not going to talk about that anymore. But I'm so glad they decided to kill him off. The people of Mount Weather at the very end, when Clark decides to kill them all, that was also a big bold death. Somewhat like, you know, thinking, should they have done that? Though that is a little bit annoying, because they could have done that ages ago, I think. They could have done that ages ago, and then literally everything that happened wouldn't have needed to happen. But again, the story, it wasn't ridiculous, and it was somewhat bold to do. It was a bold way to end the season, or end the Mount Weather arc. Fan favourite, Lexa. She joined this season. Our Alicia Debnam Carey, if you are a Fear the Walking Dead fan. And I'm so glad she was part of this show, because she really, really is interesting. She's a great character. I absolutely loved every second she was on screen, and she just made season 2, the second part, that just this much better. This much better. Like, honestly, absolutely adored Lexa. And I guess a final positive to mention is there were great individual moments. So, like, individual moments could have been the deaths, as I already mentioned. But again, in the moment, it was a big thing to think about. And like reunions, so obviously the Ark coming down, and we see Jaha meeting up with people, you know, everyone thinking he's dead. We see Clark and her mother reuniting. The individual moment, like at the fight, like the season finale, when everyone's getting the transplants and they're all hung up on the wall, and it's like, oh my god, you know, like this is crazy, this is mad. But they're the individual moments that just build up and overall make the season so good. Saying all of that though, I do have a couple of negatives that I kind of have to mention because, I think it was a lot better than the first season, but I can't sit here and tell you that it was perfect. One of the things that I think is the biggest thing is it was a little bit back and forth within the second part of the season. I think it was fine. Like it was fine, 16 episodes, but they definitely could have done like 12 to 13 episodes. I think some things were just a little too pushed out, and I'm not too happy about that. It did make it a little bit repetitive, a little bit boring. But like I say, it was fine. It wasn't anything terrible. And maybe if I rewatch it, I'll realise I was a bit critical and I shouldn't have said that. But at least from watching it the time that I first watched it, I do believe that it was a little bit back and forth. I didn't care about the City of Light. And on that point, I didn't care about Jaha. I thought every single Jaha moment in this season was so boring. Like, I didn't care seeing him alone on the spaceship or alone in the ark, like in the sky. I didn't care seeing him alone in the earth. I didn't care about his whole City of Light shtick. I really didn't care about Jaha at all, and he just pisses me off so much. And, season 3, he also does the same. So, listen, I don't like him. I thought he was a waste of space. I think he should have just died. His arc should have ended on the ark in the sky. But maybe he was there to push the City of Light. I don't know. But I didn't care about Jaha from season 2. And this isn't really a huge negative, but I definitely think the ending was a bit bad. I think killing the people in Mount Weather wasn't bad. I thought that was quite brave, quite bold. Again, it's the deaths. But I think the very end where Clark left, I didn't care. Like, when I finished season 1, I was so excited to get into season 2. When I finished season 2, honestly, I didn't really care much about season 3. Like, because I knew, we're going to have to get into something. We're going to have to properly start and understand all this stuff. And not everything has to end with a cliffhanger, but I just think I really didn't care, and the transition from season 1 to 2 was so good that I just have to mention this. Like, the ending itself wasn't bad, but the very end, the cliffhanger, the transition into season 3 really wasn't good. And as like a personal thing, I hated the first episode of season 3, and clearly that's because the ending of season 2 was such like a abrupt, stupid thing that they could have made it so much nicer for season 3. But again, that's not a huge negative, and, if you get into season 3, you get into season 3. The ending's not terrible, like I say. It's only really, Jaha, the City of Light, and the back and forth that's, like, a problem. But even then, I enjoyed season 2 of The 100. I would probably say this is an 8.5. I really thought it was an 8.5. I thought it was better than season 1. I just was more entertained and engaged in, like, all aspects. And I had a great time watching it, and I'm so glad I watched it. Like, I would recommend you guys watch it, absolutely. Like, it was such a good show. It is such a good show. But thank you for watching. I will hopefully talk about season 3 in the future. But of course, I am here to talk about The Walking Dead, and Fear the Walking Dead in particular. Thanks for watching though, and I will see you all next time.